here's Brody Brazil.
Well, as I record this, it's a brand new week, and it's also an interesting time to take a look at what is and is not bound to happen for the A's in Southern Nevada in the very near future. Let's begin with the latter, and specifically as it pertains to the Las Vegas Stadium Authority. They're about to have a board meeting this Thursday, but nowhere to be seen on the agenda is any A's business, which is kind of interesting because the A's and the LVSA, they actually have a couple main things to hammer out here before anything else can take place in Las Vegas. The A's and the Stadium Authority, they need to come together on a community benefits agreement and a lease agreement and a development agreement and also a non-relocation agreement. And sure, those are kind of like dominoes. I guess once you get the big ones done first, maybe some of the other ones fall and come together. But they are individually some things that just need to be squared away, like I said, before anything else can really happen. But it seems like there's not going to be any progress made on that in the immediate future. The Las Vegas Stadium Authority Board, they have not met since October 25th. They didn't have a meeting in November, and their December meeting got canceled. So we revisit the notes here, the meeting notes from October 25th, 2023. It says this: Chair Steve Hill referenced the preliminary drafts of the Community Benefits Agreement and the lease agreement and noted that he has requested the Clark County input as the A's, the Stadium Authority, and the county will need to collaborate to move forward with the project. Mr. Hill thanked Mr. John Fisher, A's owner, and expressed optimism for an upcoming vote by the MLB, for the relocation of the A's to Las Vegas, which, as you know, was unanimous and was official on November 16th, 2023. Chair Hill clarified that the first draft of the Community Benefits Agreement and the draft lease agreement would only be presented at that meeting, and no action will be taken on either of these documents. Mr. Hill noted that these documents would be available for the board, public, and county's input, and would then be presented to the board in its December 14th, 2023 meeting for possible action. Again, that meeting was postponed. It never took place. The next time they're about to meet is this upcoming Thursday. But going back to October, Chair Hill indicated that board members were recently polled regarding future scheduling of Stadium Authority Board meetings, and the third Thursday of each month was chosen for these meetings, which would be added to board members' calendars. Chair Hill noted that there would be several documents to be discussed during those meetings, in addition to the four primary documents, which I mentioned before, which are the Community Benefits Agreement, the Lease Agreement, the Development Agreement, and the Non-Relocation Agreement. Okay, that's established, but here is their next meeting. This Thursday, January 18th, 2024 at 3 p.m. 8 things on the agenda, and none of them are any of those things I previously mentioned regarding the A's. What to make of that? We'll eventually get to my takeaways, but it's interesting that that's not part of any of the business here on the docket. You'd think in some way, shape, or form there would be some urgency by the A's, by the Stadium Authority Board, to push things together. I mean, SB 1 was passed more than 6 months ago. And actually, the beginning of demolition at the Tropicana Hotel site, that should optimally begin within the next 6 or so months if they really want to move forward with groundbreaking in early 2025. So there's not exactly an urgent time crush here. Like, this is not all going to fall apart tomorrow. There's upcoming meetings scheduled for February and March and April and May and June and July, basically once a month. I should have explained before that the Las Vegas Stadium Authority Board, they try to get together once a month, but last year, in 2023, I think there were only 6 total meetings. So some of these, historically speaking, may or may not happen. I guess we'll find out. But as of right now, sure, I guess if it doesn't happen January 18th, maybe it could happen February 15th or at some point beyond. So the A's are not part of that, but they are part of this. It caught everybody's attention. The Las Vegas Chamber, I imagine that's the Chamber of Commerce, is having an event on January 24th, and Jeremy Aguero is already an invited guest. He's going to be a guest speaker, so is Steve Hill. You know them from the Nevada legislative sessions. They represented the A's, basically did all of their leverage to politicians in getting $380 million of public funding. But now it's advertised that the A's themselves, I don't know who that means, will be part of a fireside chat. It says they'll be addressing the community for the first time, which I'm going to say right now is probably inaccurate. I mean, the A's themselves said they've already been out in the Las Vegas community and they've been doing some outreach there, but okay, that's the advertisement here by the Vegas Chamber. They're addressing the community for the first time, and at this event, you'll get to hear from A's leadership and learn about the relocation of the team and the vision for the future. Now, this, I guess, is open to the public, but at a cost. If you're a member of the Vegas Chamber, it's $95 a ticket. If you're not a member, for January 24th, it's $125 a ticket. You can see that on the screen. And if you want a table of 5 with a VIP breakfast included, $1,200 per table. Again, it's not clear who is representing the A's or what the conversation or format will be like, a fireside chat. There'll be a fire, I guess, is all you really know. But it's interesting, right, that business is not being taken care of with the stadium board, but here, within the next 8, 9, 10 days, whenever you're watching this, a separate event with the A's will actually be happening. So let's put all of this together with some big picture takeaways here. What to make of all of this? First off, the plan is already months behind on initial timelines. We were supposed to see renderings. There was supposed to be some movement on those 4 big documents with the Stadium Board Authority. We're behind schedule, and it's not to say that things can't be done and taken care of in adequate time, and this all goes off without a hitch eventually, but for some strange reason, we're not there yet. Now, the reasons behind it, I'm not even going to pretend to know exactly what's going on. Nobody really does, and so that's unfair to assume anything or to expect anything. You can speculate on it, I suppose, but that's what we're doing here. It could be significant. Maybe these delays are all insignificant in the end. Who knows? But there's got to be something to put together between the delay of renderings, which were announced and were expected at the beginning of really November, then pushed to December. Here we are mid-January. They're still nowhere to be seen. So there's already the delay in that, and now kind of a delay in these arrangements and agreements with the Las Vegas Stadium Authority Board. And those two things, if one or the other happened, you'd say, okay, well, at least the other side is being taken care of, so progress is being made. But when really nothing is happening on either of those fronts, and some other fronts all at the same time, it's difficult to separate all those things. It's hard to not ask questions and ask yourself, what do you think is going on here? It's not very clear, and there's probably not going to be any answers. So you're not going to get any news from the Stadium Authority Board about a development agreement, and that was largely seen as the big binding agreement that would keep the A's on revenue sharing, apparently, and reportedly, that's been squared away via their land deal with Bally's and GLPI, but it's interesting that the progress is not public and the progress is not evident on those 4 main documents with the Stadium Authority Board. So you made it here to the end of the video. You know I appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so I can definitely see you back here next time.